anybody else find it as fascinating as it is utterly terrifying how many hundreds of millions of people watch documentaries about murderers and serial killers, real crime shows, tune in to all the news coverage on mass shootings, or how an entire family will get brutally murdered by one of their own family members, to which many of these crimes are committed at the hand of a narcissist or narcissistic psychopath. Oftentimes, like, say, Ted Bundy, who is a classic narcissist. For years, when hiding in plain sight, was seen by most as a stand-up citizen and was well liked. All the while, he was brutally murdering and sometimes even dismembering the women's bodies afterward. Yet, there's still a large percentage of the population, including law enforcement, politicians, judges, psychiatrists, therapists, as well as the general public, who truly don't have an understanding or are able to grasp how these individuals really are. But despite this, still feel that this label is being overused. See it as people just going around slapping some label on any selfish a-hole or somebody that broke their heart, validating their answer with this statistic based off of narcissists only making up 1% of the population. And well, let's just say, for shits and giggles, these statistics are even remotely close to being accurate. Still doesn't make it any less frightening that even after all the documentaries, TV shows, movies, reports, and information readily available to most, how many people keep overlooking that each individual narcissist is destroying the lives or taking the lives of one after the next, after the next, after the next. And we're not talking just their romantic partners or their spouses. We're talking their children, their siblings, their parents, their coworkers, friends, neighbors, their one-night stands, people they meet through online dating apps, social media, prostitutes, and the list sadly goes on. And all actuality, the number of people that we are talking about here could be astronomical, as they are doing this their entire lives, which is not only more realistic, but logical explanation why this is getting brought up, as many are finally coming forward and talking about what they've endured and sharing their experiences of what it's like dealing with a narcissist. Mind you, most just in the recent past have finally been able to put their finger on it or actually have a name for this insidious torture that they have been enduring day in and day out for years, even decades, that until the birth of the internet came about, had no idea what the F was really going on outside of it being anything but normal. Because here's the thing, there is not a soul in the world who does not want someone to be a narcissist more than the one on the receiving end of their abuse. Because coming to this realization was only after they went through every last possible alternative explanation out there, then likely slipping into a brief moment of denial until they finally got the courage to admit it to themselves. And that comes long before they actually verbally get it out, because attaching this label comes with having to admit that all of the hurt and all of the hate bestowed upon them was intentional. It means every single bit of it from day one was nothing but lies and fraud, and not at all something that someone who has endured narcissistic abuse wants to slap on or is tossing about loosely. But what makes this even more horrifying, many fail to see, though most narcissists or narcissistic psychopaths don't resort to killing in the context of first or second degree murder. But it should not be underestimated at all that they 100% have the potential at any point of doing so, and that others' deaths are still on account and at the expense of their deliberate maliciousness, bringing far more people than most care to even want to know surpassed their breaking point. They literally cannot take any more of their twisted wickedness and demoralization, only to then lose yet another piece of who they are. Each passing day that goes by and they're enduring this torture, slowly bleeding them out on the inside as the narcissist uses their words to cut them deep at the core and have them so trapped in a corner, isolating them, eliminating any other support system that they once had, full financial control, that they literally feel like there's nowhere to run, nowhere to go. And the only way out of this hellish nightmare is to end their life. And they do, as well as the countless number of individuals that, though their heart still beats, have their lives taken from them at the narcissist's expense, and done so in a way that is just as insidious, deplorable, and gruesome as some of the most horrific homicides ever committed, that would cause the hairs on the back of your neck to rise and make you quiver just thinking about it, as they carefully go about annihilating their soul and murdering the very essence of the person that they once were, sometimes enduring this slow, agonizing torture for years, though any joy or quality of life was stripped from them so far back. Those things were something of another lifetime, that they vaguely, at best, even remember what laughter sounds like. Aside of the maniacal staccato laugh, kind of like that of the Joker or Freddy Krueger, that comes oozing out from behind the menacing smirk that instantly appears on the narcissist's face while they stand there watching the look of panic wash over yours, and your eyes, filled with terror, begin to well up in tears from their achieving yet another all-time new top high score of pure evilness with whatever heinous act they just did to provoke you to emotionally crumble so that they could get a cheap thrill watching you suffer, repeatedly inflicting their deliberate cruelty on you till there is literally nothing left but an empty shell or a hollowed out sarcophagus of the person you once were. And the only thing that even constitutes you being alive is the fact that your heart is still beating and you're still breathing, despite you wishing your every wish that you weren't, for some eventually becoming the last wish they ever get granted, while others manage to find a way to escape the gates of hell, tethered and scarred, to which sometimes begin to slowly heal, and other times not at all. And even for those that do figure out a way to get these scars to heal up, their lives will never be the same. They will never forget what it's like to look into the eyes of pure evil, or how it feels when you realize behind those eyes isn't the person you thought you knew, nothing more than a soulless, spineless creature who feeds on the souls of others for no reason whatsoever but to be able to remain in their delusional world, pretending to be God, yet behaving and treating others with such inhumanity, and are more merciless than Satan, getting away with murdering the souls of others, one after the next, while their victims not only go without ever receiving justice, but are blamed, criticized, told to grow a pair, man up, stop complaining, or to show some more compassion, as after all, these people have a personality disorder. These individuals are not just some disordered personality. Oh no, these people's character is inherently evil. That, believe you me, I wish nothing more than for these monsters to not be real. But sadly, not only are they very much so real, they are amongst all genders, races, socioeconomic classes, and within every zip code around the world. And you can believe as you wish that they are few and far between, but I can assure that most, if not all of you, at some point in your life have crossed paths with one of these monsters, be that of your old boss, classmate, second cousin, once removed, or the person laying next to you when you shut your eyes at night but just don't know it yet, to which any one of them, in all truthfulness, be the next Bundy, Dahmer, or Hitler. And unless you become aware of what they are capable of and how they roll, then it sets you up at such high risk to potentially becoming the next target that they prey on. And most importantly, proper education be mandated amongst law enforcement and the representatives amongst our judicial systems, which I have to say, as it currently stands, is utterly appalling, especially in a day and age where we have information available at the touch of our fingertips. There's absolutely no excuse for this extreme lack of knowledge and education about narcissistic abuse, and what they put other people through. Because these demons are not just getting away with murdering others' souls and destroying their lives, but they are winning custody battles, getting out of facing all sorts of consequences from their breaking law after law and pulling the sheet over judges' eyes. Some of the biggest injustice of it all is coming through the systems that are supposed to bring us justice. Next time somebody says they have been on the receiving end of a narcissist abuse, or think that this label is being tossed around too loosely, think about your mother, your father, sister, brother, child, or yourself being the next one that these deplorable meat sacks sinks their claws into, and think about it long and hard. And if it strums up even just the slightest bit of doubt or hesitation in thinking that perhaps maybe these monsters are real, rather than push it off or tell them to get over it, just lend them your ear. And in doing so, you just might potentially save someone's life by allowing them to feel validated, believed, seen, and heard. Because anyone who has been dealing with a narcissist has already endured so much. And the last thing anyone after this type of abuse needs is more self-doubt or blame for the heinous, inhumane, psychological torture that the narcissist has already bestowed upon them. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist.